Oh, I like your background. The stars. We're gonna give a few more minutes for people to get in.
Hey, Stacey, welcome.
Hi, Audrey.
Which is noteworthy to me because when I was on the show back in the day,
Hey, Audrey, want me to get to like 8:03, 8:04 to start?
Let's definitely give it 8:04.
Okay.
Did everybody read chapters 2 through 4, or did y'all read ahead? What's the vibe? Miss Paulette shaking. You shaking your head. You didn't read? You're on mute.
We can't hear you, Miss Paulette.
I unmuted.
No.
I didn't get to everything, but I tried. I really did.
Okay, that's fine.
That's all that counts.
Serious 4.
Can you hear me okay?
Is nothing to worry about.
Yeah.
Okay, good, because I'm using a new headset and it's not integrating correctly. I thought we was only supposed to read chapter 1.
No, this week was 2 to 4.
Oh, okay.
But it's okay.
I'll follow along.
It's a quick read, so we'll just go over the basics. And you can catch up for next week.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Hey, Drea.
Hey.
What's up? Thanks for joining, the second week. It means a lot to me.
No, I'm reading or whatever.
Yes.
I didn't read all the chapters though. I read chapter 2. So,
okay.
And I started looking through like chapter 3. So a little behind.
Okay. You ain't the only one, as we know.
Everybody's trickling in. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Lakeisha. Thanks for joining us. Or did we lose her? We lost her.
Should have came up with like a theme song, like waiting music.
That is a great idea.
Yeah.
All right, Donita, the floor is yours.
Okay, well, yes, thank you all for joining us for the second week of the Newark Book Club. Thank you for, committing to your self-journey through reading this book. I would love to, as many of you know, you already know Audrey with Newark, and we have Linnell helping us with the tech side. I'm representing the BrownMill team right now. I'm the only BrownMill member, but as they come in, I'll definitely allow them to introduce themselves. But yeah, thank you for coming. For people who are just joining us, we are going to be discussing chapter 2 through 4 of this lovely book. And yeah, to get started, just to, get us all, unwound from the work day. It's very Monday. I would love to touch bases with you all. And if you'd like to share something good that happened to you this past week. Yeah, just to get the energy and intention together. So yeah, please share something good with us if you like. Yeah.
Well, I don't know if it's good, but I tore a muscle in my calf, between my calf and my Achilles. So needless to say, I am in a boot. This is slowing down my exercise. I was like, well, I'm gonna be off work for the next 3 weeks. I guess I'm off now for the next 4 weeks. Not off of work, but not going into the city. So it's all good. Long as it's off before Dubai. I told the doctor, I was like,
okay.
He was like, I will make sure it's off. Thank you, sir. So needless to say, even though I cannot exercise with my sister Bella, I will have to find something else to do to keep myself busy.
When
So
you go
it's
to Dubai?
like a double-edged thing.
Oh, the end of next month.
Oh, nice. Awesome. You could just pack me in your luggage, Sonia.
See ya, Michelle.
My daughter-in-law went there for a little more than 30 days when she was studying yoga. She was getting her certification. So she went there.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
Well, that was, even though it's rough, I guess you'll be like, sitting, you're not going into work. So is that the plus side of it? Outside of everything else on you?
Well, you know what? Not going into work is not that bad because, like I said, I was taken off from going into the city for the next 3 weeks anyway. It was like my summer break, even though I'm still working. So now I'm technically off a week earlier. But it's okay because I'm home and I can still move. I can still drive. It's the left foot, not the right.
Okay.
So, I'm not all the way down. Don't count me out like New Edition said. I'm still here.
Well, I love your perspective and your joy about it all, even though some people would look at that as like a dub or just something really bad. So shout out to your perspective. Love it. If anyone else would like to share something good that happened in this past week.
That's her willingness spirit.
For sure. Dre, would you like to share? I see you thinking.
Something good that happened. Well, my friend Shane from California came back in town. I got to hang out with him. So that was fun because I haven't seen him in a while. So we had a cute little time listening to Beyonce. We had a Beyonce dance party. So
yeah, you rocking over there. So friend Shane, like
no, I was there too. So we definitely
United was there too. We did have a Beyonce dance party. It was fun.
Yeah. Anyone else?
I was telling the team earlier, I got some peace in my house. I'm a caretaker, so my parents are on a cruise, no kids to take care of for a week, so it's all quiet for a whole week, and that I get to rejuvenate as an introvert. That some quiet and no one bothering you. It's great. It's awesome.
No, I see you glowing. Like that smile is giving like peace, like relaxation, all that.
Yep.
I love it. Shout out to the introverts, for real. We need our social battery to be like recharged,
Absolutely.
Anyone else like to share? If not, I'll go for it. I'll go next too. What happened this week? I got to spend some time with my family, and that just is always a good time. I went to Atlantic City yesterday, and I got to terrorize my sister by making her go on rides with me. So that was very fun. But yeah, that was something that was enjoyable. Along with the Beyonce dance party, but you already know about that. But yeah, if no one else wants to share it, I will definitely get the rest of our book discussion started. So yeah. The chapter number 2 was called Willing versus Unwilling. And for those that did read it, this chapter was pretty interesting to me because he put a spin on like what you tell yourself and how that may aid you in your journey. So because at first, like sometimes I feel like, words of affirmation and stuff. And when he started putting the twist on it of saying like instead of saying willing, say what you're unwilling to do, could really just help. So any thoughts on anybody who read chapter 2?
Yeah, I think I kind of touched on this last week, which goes back to the I ams. And as you said, look at it in the reverse, but it's also like, what am I willing to do? And it's like, I am, I'm willing to do this, but I'm not willing to do this, like you said. So it's really perspective. But then it's also look at it like, how much do you want this? Which will also decide whether or not it's something you're unwilling to do or whether it's something you want to do.
Yeah, it's like, what are you willing to like sacrifice to get what you want? Because he put the perspective like, oh, if you want to like go work out, it's like, are you unwilling to go work out? Or like, what are you willing to do to change to get to that and make it very real? And that's just like how we could be our own worst enemy sometimes. But yeah, definitely going to put some of those things into practice. Now that, I have that perspective. But yeah, anyone else read chapter 2? I know some of us have to catch up, so that's also okay.
No, I want to jump in. So I did say I read chapter 1, but I did read chapter 2. I didn't. Okay. I was unsure to read to chapter, which said 4.
Yeah.
But I did read chapter 2, and I did enjoy the I am willing. I never looked at it from that other reframing and perspective of I am unwilling. And it really goes down to like, I talk about me and trying to lose weight, and they did use that example, right? And what resonated with me and made me chuckle was it said, okay, so what are you unwilling to do? It's like you putting it in a perspective of you feel as though you may be overweight, but what are you willing to do and what are you unwilling to do to fix that overweight? But then you could be happy with that and not even realize that you were fine. The reason why you may have been unwilling to stop eating, let's use that. I'm going to be unwilling to not go to the gym 3 times a day like I thought I was willing to do. But your actions is really dictating what you're willing and unwilling to do. And if you're not going to the gym, then inevitably you must be fine, right? And you must don't think that you want to fix that, because if you did, then you would be willing to go to the gym 2 or 3 days. So that was a really good perspective for me to like, I think I must be okay with in my current circumstance, because I am unwilling to change and go to the gym like I'm supposed to. So I had to really think of that. Like, it's me that's holding myself back by not being willing to do those different things. And I'm like, yeah, I can say all, until I'm blue in the face, oh, I want to lose weight. I want to lose weight, but when I'm at what action am I actually to do that?
Right. And I think almost that kind of gives you peace if you just accept, like, I'm right now, I'm not willing to like not eat food I love. And that's okay, because that would just give us more stress and more, pressure of like, being reminded of that each time. So yeah, that's very helpful. It's like, I'm just going to accept what the season I'm in right now. I'm just going to accept what is happening. And know that when I'm ready to make that change, I'm gonna make it.
Exactly. And apparently I'm not.
So enjoy the food, enjoy what you're experiencing right now to the fullest. Like just, you know. Yeah. Hold on, Michelle. I think are you speaking to us?
Yeah, I was saying, I said you will enjoy it, the food and stuff, until you start gaining those pounds, and then you start that willingness to, start losing weight. Let me start doing these particular steps so I can get where I want to be. But I do understand, because sometimes you say you're willing to do it, but you really are not taking those steps to get where you want to be. And then, like you said, is it really what you want to be? Because then you will fulfill it. You would get there eventually. And so sometimes that willingness and that unwillingness, I guess, like they were saying, I think you can have them both. And and a lot of times you're willing to do a certain amount, but then you get that unwilling spirit, like, okay, I'm gonna stop right here. That's too much of a sacrifice. That's too much I have to give up. But you still want the goals at the end. You still want to achieve those goals. So it is a double-headed sword, I guess, in so many words. Willingness and unwillingness.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you, Michelle, but I done took that goal off, and it's going to be replaced by something else. And when I'm ready to lose the weight, the goal will return.
Okay.
But right now, I have done away with that goal because I am unwilling, and I realize that, right? And so that's not a goal no longer. And when I'm ready, then I'll put that back on my goal sheet and tackle it.
Okay. Schedule it.
Like I keep saying, I'm gonna get back up and start walking, and going for some walks, walking the track, and it just seemed like it's taking me forever to get the initiative to start. But when I start, I put on my music and I, walking, and I enjoy it. But it's just that it's just that first step that just seemed like it's taking me forever to do. So I keep saying, when I get home, maybe I'll do it as soon as I get home, and then I'll have it over with, So it's those little small steps that I have to make, that willingness. Oh, let's see what happens.
Right. Now, this conversation is making me think of just like accountability of partners and stuff like that. Because sometimes when I don't want to do something, I'll get more excited if somebody wants to do it with me. I'm like, yeah,
Right.
like, let's go. Wow.
That's true.
Yeah. So kind of like being yourself to the punch, like, okay, if I'm not gonna do it by myself, let me ask somebody. But yeah, thank you guys for sharing that. That was great. Let's see. I didn't really get too much takeaways from chapter 3. It felt like, let's see. Yeah, like nothing really stuck to me when I read chapter 3. Did anybody read chapter 3? Have notes? It just felt. Yeah. I think it was just trying to like give motivation for something. Basically, what we were just talking about, like creating a game plan and all that type of stuff. It was like this one thing was like you can avoid the dirty dishes in the sink for days. You use every plate, cup, and piece of silverware in the house, and then you start getting creative until you're eating cereal out of a handy Tupperware. So it was kind of just going through the thought process of us avoiding to do something that we want to do. Right, you are what you think is what I got from chapter 3. Facts. So yeah, but I definitely have some notes about chapter 4. Did anybody have any?
For chapter 3, did they mention about the subconscious? Did you have anything on that?
No, I didn't really take. I'm willing to hear what you have though. He said subconscious.
Just kind of like you saying, setting up those daily wins and being mindful of setting up those habits and those breakaway habits, making sure that setting those expectations and those small goals to have that game plan and set it in your mind that this is what you want to do. Um, that's kind of where I was going with that.
Oh yeah, they were talking about that a lot. See, maybe I wasn't able to receive it. Maybe I'm not ready.
No worries.
Yeah, I think also they were talking about, like you chart your path, look at life and its goals, and it forces you to look at, your path. And I guess it was just more encouraging and inspirational, if anything. And I guess to make you look at where you at and where you want to be and how to get there. And and like you Lionel just indicated, it's taking those small steps. And the change, starts with us being willing to change, you know. So it's about our willingness to change and do the small steps to get where we would like to be or should be. And
Yeah.
I just
And
found
counting your
it
victories, like the
yeah.
victories. So, even though it may not be something real grandiose, like that one thing that you did, you need to celebrate yourself. So it's like the things that you do, celebrate yourself. It almost goes back to a gratitude journal. Like, when you accomplish something and you achieve something, like write it down, because that is a victory to you. I mean, whether you think so or not, because I used to tell myself this when I used to run half marathons, and I used to be like, oh, I don't want to go outside and run. But then I would be like, look at how many people are not outside at 6 o'clock in the morning when you're running. Look how much stuff you've already gotten done by like 9 o'clock, and people probably haven't even like wiped the stuff out of one eye. So, though you see it sometimes as grueling, like these are things that are, these are milestones that you're creating along the way. So we should learn to celebrate even the small ones, even though they're not the ones that we always say, aha, and think about. But like I said to myself, like, even though I can't be outside walking every single day, I'm like, I will be able to do some walking. Granted, it's maybe up and down the stairs and maybe in the yard, and we're moving this weekend. So I'm like, well, I will get to move. It may not be as much as I want, but to me, the victory is that I'm not in the hospital. I'm not having surgery. Like, I'm not laid out. Like, so I can still do the things that I want to do. It just may not be what I want to do, but what I'm doing is still more than what I probably would have done if the situation had been turned around differently.
Right.
Yeah, and that's where your subconscious comes in as you train yourself to think in those ways and get those smaller daily wins. That helps you activate and push yourself forward to actually do the things that you want to do. But if you kept yourself with a negative perspective, or you're saying looking at it in a large project, you may not want to achieve it because you didn't get the ultimate end goal. So change trying to set yourself for little small wins, subconsciously say, oh, well, yeah, I accomplished this part of it. So I'm moving towards the ultimate goal.
Yeah,
Just
that's
to build on what he said, my small wins that I realized I wasn't even celebrating was I play solitaire on my phone all the time. And I would just close out the game instead of recognizing, start the next game, instead of appreciating, yay, you did it. And I shared with my husband, I said that, when I was younger, it was about the stacks at the top. And now on the phone, it's about getting the stack at the right empty. So I learned the game, and I didn't appreciate that I really learned something new about the game, and I learned to conquer it, and I learned to win. And then the other thing, going back to what Sonia said, is most of last year I was in the hospital. So yes, I'm grateful I'm not in the hospital. Monday I'm going back in, but it's because I lost over 100 pounds and I needed I need both knee surgery, but I needed total knee replacement. And they were like, you're too fat. We don't want to take it. You're a high risk. So I lost the weight. And I wasn't even focused on, you did this, Pearlette. I was focused on, and this is the voices that he was talking about in the chapters that I read, the negative things that I say to myself. And I was like, okay, because they were still saying to me, you're still heavy and you're still high risk and you're still this. And it's going to be a lot of things that you're going to have to overcome. And I went to my doctor-in-law. I was like, I'm not going to do this. I'm going to back out. And she was like, Pearlette, think about where you came from. And I don't recognize those wins, as y'all are saying. So I really appreciate this book in making me recognize where I came from and what I'm saying to myself. And that it's like, you got to get to this next level. You got to make this. So this is great.
Wow. You
I
just said
agree.
a whole bunch of things that you like can celebrate like at this moment. And that was so inspiring. Like I would love to just like congratulate you for sure. Like that's major. Not even just the solitaire. Like the solitaire was just an icing on the cake, but like what? You did that. You did that. So yeah.
It's like the book from Joyce Myers, like Battlefield of the Mind. And when you talk to a lot of therapists and a lot of people, they say the majority of what stops us from doing things is what's here. It's not necessarily what you say, but it's what you've created in your mind. It's what you believed in your mind. It's the value that you place. It all starts here. So if we can clear out the junk that's up here, the rest of this will flow with it. And like they say, it's mind over matter. So it starts here. And that's why I'm like,
yourself, right? So
it's sad because, you know, we talk about mental health, but
it's serious.
it's a mind thing. Like if you can empower people to think differently and you can empower people to feel differently about themselves, I think we can eradicate mental illness. Because a lot of people don't feel valued, you know, and when you don't feel valued, you feel less of yourself and you don't feel worthy. And so I really feel like I'm like, we can fix this, but we're not going to fix this because this is money to the government. Like this is now another revenue for the government. So why fix something that we know can be fixed, but that we know is going to generate money? And so that's what a lot of stuff that's happening. It's like, we can fix a lot of this, but we don't, because if we fix it, then where are we getting money from? You can't keep taxing people. So you have to find ways to earn the revenue and the income in the States. And it's sad because you're taxing people. People, like we're important people and we're being taxed on our lives and not even really realizing it. Like we're very valuable and the government knows that. And that's why a lot of stuff that happens, I don't think they want to solve. Like the whole thing with drugs and crime. This could be solved a long time ago, but we're not going to do that because money, guns is money, drugs is money, you know? And so it's like, we can fix things, but we're not going to fix it because it's revenue. So, you know, if you know this, deal with your mind, clear your mind out and the rest of it will follow.
Right.
Yeah, I think the key is definitely mental health and just being able to have discussions about like how you think or how you're viewing the world, instead of, you know, keeping up too much to yourself to the point where it's detrimental. So shout out to just like everyone overcoming like their mental obstacles so it can lead to a physical change. So yeah, oh my God, so inspiring.
I just wanted to make this comment. He did mention, and I made a note of this, that, you know, we tend to focus on what we don't have when we may not want it or need it. And, you know, he referenced where some folks, you know, if, you know, being a millionaire, you know, first of all, would you want to work and put in the time to being a millionaire? And at the same time, you know, some folks say, if I had millions of dollars, you know, they figured that, you know, that would be the answer to everything, you know, all of their problems, when in actuality, it would be create new problems. So sometimes we might think we want certain things and we really don't want it. We might want some of it, but not all of it, because a lot of things come with a whole different set of problems. And so we got to be mindful of that. And sometimes we just got to be happy with us, with what we have, and we should be. And also, you know, that doesn't mean we can't improve ourselves, and that doesn't mean we can't strive and set our goals. But sometimes some folks go for something that's so far-fetched instead of doing the little steps to get to you do those smaller steps to get to the further point. That was it.
Mhm. No, that is definitely a takeaway. What you said about, like, would you want to be a millionaire if it came with all those things? Like, if it came with you having to work 60 hours a week, not seeing your family, like, how would that even start affecting your mental health if you're somebody who needs those things to, like, you know, exist? So that has been a thing of coming to age for me, because I'm like, oh, you know, I want this and that. And then I'm like, wait, am I really willing to sacrifice my sleep? You know, am I willing to sacrifice this and that? So if your answer is no to those things, then that's okay. You can just make do with what you're willing to work for, because everyone's dream is not the same. So yeah, you know, it's the boss babe culture for me. So I had to, like, you know, really get clear about what I wanted on an individual level. But yeah, that's amazing. I guess we'll move on to chapter 4, because the title of this was I Got This. And he was basically talking about, like, you know, have gotten over so many problems that you may have not thought you would get over when you're in the thick of it. And just like how big problems seem to us, like, at that moment that they're affecting us, just like, especially, like, I don't know about y'all, but me as a book reader, I love stories. I love drama. So sometimes I could add a little bit, you know, of that to my personal life. And I'll just be like, oh, this is such an issue and all that stuff. And I don't know if that helps or hurts, but, like, it can exacerbate a problem that's really small, just, you know, if you take a step back from it. So yeah, this chapter was definitely strong for me, and just talking about how a lot of the problems we have would be considered first world problems to many in other countries. So yeah, that was a good takeaway for me. For those of you who did go on and read chapter 4, let me know if there's anything you'd like to share before I go into my little post-it notes. Let's see. Said that one. Okay. Has anyone in this group ever done, like, mindfulness activities or you know, meditation? Is that a part of anyone's practice on the daily?
It's not a daily, but it gets done. You know, the thing for me when I think about meditating, so we used to have these 15-minute breaks at work, and I'd have them on my calendar, and I'm like, okay, I'm getting ready for minute. But for me, it was the thought of, and it may sound silly, of losing time. But then as you're trying to listen to them, your mind is still racing. And even though they said that is kind of natural, that your mind still races during the meditation, I was like, this is not supposed to happen. Like, it's just supposed to shut down. So needless to say, I don't have them on my calendar anymore. Because I was like, I don't know if I can sit still for 15 seconds and listen to someone else. I've tried it. 15 minutes, but for me, meditating, like, I'll get up in the morning and I may listen to, like, the word of the day. We can hear it on our phones from church, or like going outside and listening to gospel music. That to me is meditating, because I'm moving. Sitting still to me, I think, is a little harder for me to meditate. And it, like I said, it may be mind over matter, but if I'm moving, I can adapt to it easier. If I'm sitting, it bothers me. It's almost like Audible. If I'm cooking, I can listen to the Audible book better. But if I'm just sitting here, it doesn't digest with me.
You know, I thought I was the only one. Well, I'll do the meditation every so often. My daughter-in-law has does her yoga online, as well as she goes into to the studio. So she does like every Wednesday, a 15-minute yoga session. So she'll normally hit me up at 12 o'clock on Wednesdays and say, okay, you chiming in? And sometimes I'll say, yeah, nah. And so when I get on, she'd be excited that I joined in. And so I guess it's with the breathing and trying to relax. And I guess because like Sonia, we so fast paced with certain things, we're always doing and doing. And that sometimes it takes a lot for us to come down off of that high, the slow down. And when I look at Karis, she's easygoing. Nothing bothers her. She lets nothing bother her. So the kids, my grandson could be yelling and screaming and whining. And I could be wanting to pinch him if I was close by to him or something. And she just everybody said, she has so much patience. And she really, truly does. And she'll say, okay, now let's breathe. And she'll tell them, like, inhale, exhale. And she does all that with them. And, they'll calm down sometime. But Savannah really does. DJ, takes him a minute. But she does it. And sometimes I'll be like, okay, I got to get back to work in my head. But she's like, the inhaling, exhaling, think about nothing. And so I guess if I practice it a little more, if I really did this on a day-to-day basis, that it would probably help me so much more than just doing it once a week or once every other week or when I join in. But I guess I probably need to do that so much more. And I probably wouldn't let things bother me as much, or I will slow down and kind of, as I get older, I think I realize that I need to slow down because my body's, is trying to tell me something. But that's one of the things that I said I wanted to do as well is, kind of do a little meditation and spend time with myself and maybe it'll help me out. But I don't know. Let's see.
Dope. Yeah, that's amazing. I mean, I definitely aspire to be back on that level of meditation where she just is that patient with everybody because that's a gift.
And I have had a couple of people from my job join in, and it was so funny because one day I was on the phone with her, and my grandson was having one of these little screaming fits, and my staff was like, oh, she has so much patience, and she's talking to DJ, and they were like, oh, that would have just took me to another level, but she just handled it so well, and she's just so calm. I said, that's just her. She doesn't get herself upset. And I don't know what personality that is, but I guess I have the opposite personality. But I guess it's all with the training and her yoga. And she's at peace with it. And
yeah,
she lets nothing bother her.
I'd like to add in on to that, what Michelle was saying. As a single mother, I actually had to take up meditating to stop me from losing my damn mind. I fought for it. Like when my daughter wakes up, it's all about her. And I needed that time for myself because from the time she wake up to the time she go to bed, which we're fighting to do because she doesn't want to go to bed, I had no time to check in with myself. And so I found out, and that's actually through the power of habit, through the book club, where I said, okay, I think the previous host I told was Damien. Now I'm going to start waking up because he said he wakes up at 4 a.m. I said, oh my God. So I said, I'm going to try 5 a.m. So I started doing 5 a.m. First thing I do is meditate. So I meditate for about 10 minutes and then it started slowly increasing. And I fought for that. Like my daughter would wake up like, Mom, I'm up. I'm like, no, go back to bed. Like I'm still in the middle of meditating. Like I took it so serious. Every morning I used to fight myself. And the worst part was sitting in bed to do that meditation because I'll go right back to sleep. So then I realized I had to get up and go into the living room and do that meditation on mindfulness. And like you were saying, Michelle, I'm the same way. People look at me like, oh my God, her daughter's having a tantrum. Why isn't she wilding out? And it's like, I didn't know at the time, but I learned that it was because I'm in meditation. I'm mindful of everything. And more purposefully, that mindful meditation made me so aware of my breath and my thoughts and where it was going. So then when I deal with anything, even if it was work related, or just stressors, it would just roll off. And even so funny, because my daughter would be like, mommy, just breathe in with me. And I'm just looking at her like, it's crazy how it reflects off to her, because now I'm just like, Mel, calm down, breathe. And she'll be like, so she's getting that too. And I make her do the 5-minute meditation, and I see a difference. It doesn't happen in a week, but with time and consistency, you start to see your reaction less and responding more.
So I love that. Like, that is your safe space, you know what I'm saying? That's kind of why I brought up the mindfulness, is like going back to a place that makes you feel good, and prioritizing that is basically what he kind of like walked us through in chapter 4, when he started saying like, you know, start recalling like, you know, that day where you like walk down the aisle with the love of your life, you know, go back to a family vacation you took in the Caribbean, like, you know, kind of just going into those places of joy, and whatever that looks like. It could be meditation, it could be mindfulness, it could be you waking up and going outside to play gospel music, but just finding that space will really make a difference on your journey of, you know, getting out of your head. So I'm inspired, and I also practice meditation. I could be better with it, but I like to meditate for like at least 30 minutes. So sometimes that's hard to fit in, but yeah, very inspired as parents, how that, you know, comes into play. So
Can I jump in just for a second?
Yeah.
So I was listening to all you guys, and right, I feel like I don't have enough time to do that either. But what reminded me is how do you pronounce your name? Zundia? Zenaida. Lord, I messed it up. Zenaida. I remember when we started our book club for today, and you had said something in regards to grounding, and then just tell everyone, okay, so maybe we could replace our weekly grounding with some sort of meditation to kind of just ground ourselves and get us prepared for book club. Maybe we can add in, there's lots of things on YouTube, and we can just probably put in a 5-minute grounding exercise before we start with the book club.
Yeah, I'm down to do that. I have this app I use called Insight Timer, and I also have a friend who makes meditation music. So I'll probably do that next week. Yeah, I was just talking about opening music, so I'll probably play it next week, and we can definitely do that.
Now, it's funny you say that, because I used to lead a WW group, Weight Watchers at church, and we'd play for the first 5 minutes. We'd play nothing but music. And then we'd open it up in prayer, and you can tell like the tone in the room and the people, everything had changed, because it's how you walk into the atmosphere, because it's already peaceful and it's quiet. And so you come in not all excited, you come in like, and then you get prepared. So I am a strong proponent of music. Like, I can sit and listen to music all day and not care about TV.
Right, same. What's the name? We have Justice in the chat. He was just saying, ooh, meditation. Justice is one of the founders of BrownMill, which is the reason why I'm here hosting today. He's also a father himself. He's putting his son to sleep. But I just want to shout you out, Justice. I see you in our book club, since we're closing out in a second. Yeah, I really definitely next week we'll start off with a song and meditation. I think that's a great addition just to like how this book is affecting us as well. And yeah, before I pretty much wrap up, is there anyone else who would like to share? I agree, Sonia, with their message in the chat. Let's see, do I have any closing notes? Yeah, okay. So in closing thought, you can meditate on this answer until I'm done. But what's a word that you will be meditating on for the next week, or just your theme for the next week? We'll answer that in a second. Before that, I'll just go over some quick things regarding the book club. So the next chapter that we'll be reading for next week is 5 through 7. And also, don't forget to mark your calendars for August 26th because that's our final meeting. It'll be on a Friday, and we are meeting at BrownMill for in person. And you might just want to be there because there might be some treats. I'm not gonna say what yet, but just pull up.
Question. I think I may have checked no, but I'm able to come.
Okay.
So do I have to put it in the chat or just come? I think I may.
Just let me know. Yeah, she said pull up, so you're good to go.
Okay.
Yeah, you're good to go.
Okay, thank you.
Just some quick reminders. Thank you to our sponsors, BrownMill, for partnering with us for this month's book club. You can get 15% off your entire order. We also have a sponsorship with Sweetwater's Cafe, also located across the street on Halsey. You can get 15% your entire order. Also, thank you for Audible for supplying codes to us, and the Newark Public Library for additional digital copies on Hoopla. You also can get a discount at Barnes & Noble's Rutgers for 15% off the book or Source of Knowledge. Also, you can get a 10% off from Sindel's online bookstore. And I also know for people who are based in Plainfield, she just did a launch of a free. What'd you say, Audrey? Oh yeah, it's a free library. Yeah, it's like a free library in Plainfield, my hometown. I also would love to mention that you can sign up for services with Higher Newark. You join the Higher Newark Facebook page, and you can continue the discussion as well, and sign up for the Higher Newark talent pool. Yeah, did I forget anything, Audrey? Is that good? Okay. Thank y'all for sticking with me. And I'm definitely more calm this second meeting. And I just thank you guys for pulling up with us. So yeah, like I said, before we end, just let me know what words you'll be meditating on for the next week. And yeah, then we'll close out the night. I'll go first. Okay, someone says string. I love that. My word will be, I want to listen more. So my word is listen. Yeah. Anyone else? I'm sorry, we can't hear you, Michelle.
I said peace.
Peace, love that.
Peace of mind.
Self-care, positivity. All right, I love it. Well, yeah, thank you again. And again, chapters 5 through 7, we ready, and we'll be back next Monday.
Night, Lynell.
Good night, everyone.
Good night. Good night.
Good night. Good night.